Is Rigathi Gachagua now coming to terms with the reality that he'll not be on the ballot come 2027? I'm asking that question because earlier today, Rigathi was speaking in Murang'a, where he made some remarks that have been interpreted to mean he might be scouting for the best candidate in the opposition to support for the presidency. Yes. Before we listen to Rigathi Gachagua, let's have a look at a post shared by former Nyeri Member of Parliament, Ngunjuri Wambugu, on the same remarks Rigathi made in Murang'a. Ngunjuri Wambugu, Gachagua to evaluate suitability of his colleagues, and he is now slowly scrutinizing Matiang'i, Kalonzo, Martha Karua, Wamalwa, etc. Then he will tell us who to follow. Uguruki. And then Ngunjiri Wambugu has shared out that short clip of Rigathi speaking in Murang'a.
Andu acio othe turacera nao na ndiramathurima kahora kahora ngitwiragia tondu twahenirio ni mundu akuite kirikaniro ayuka gwagitwira mwathani agocwo na to turi a Kristiano ri tukiuga amen.
Let's put that into perspective. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's proceed. The remarks were made in Kikuyu, and from the interpretation we've gotten, Rigathi seems to be suggesting that he is scrutinizing his allies in the opposition to see the best who he will stand with. And the best who he will stand with can mean the person he will support for the presidency or the person he'll pick as his running mate. And I'm saying that because in our yesterday's analysis, and for those who have been keenly following opposition politics, in the opposition, we have three big wigs. We have Matiang'i, Rigathi, and Kalonzo Musyoka. Matiang'i cannot play a second fiddle to any opposition leader. Matiang'i will stop at the ballot. He'll stop at the presidency. For Rigathi Gachagua, it's clear the constitution bars him from contesting. So even if he would love to contest, IEBC will block him. The constitution bars Rigathi Gachagua from contesting, so he might not be a candidate. If you look at Kalonzo Musyoka, Kalonzo is also determined to go for the presidency. But in the recent days, if keenly you look at Kalonzo Musyoka's body language, he seems to be sending some hints that he might even be a running mate. And a running mate not to any other person, but to Rigathi Gachagua. Why does Kalonzo intend to be a running mate to Rigathi Gachagua? Kalonzo Musyoka is a lawyer. And Kalonzo understands very well that someone who has been impeached cannot hold any other state office. So it can be Rigathi Gachagua's running mate, knowing fully well that eventually Rigathi will be blocked, and then him, Kalonzo, will be the candidate. That's what can push Kalonzo into being Rigathi Gachagua's running mate. Kalonzo knows that Rigathi will be blocked. Upon Rigathi being blocked, the running mate, who is Kalonzo, will now be the candidate. So Kalonzo is also trying to play it smart. But I know very many Kenyans And very many political pundits might have not picked that. But I'm seeing a Kalonzo Musyoka who can easily play a second fiddle to Rigathi, knowing fully well Rigathi will be blocked. That's exactly what is happening here. So I'm seeing a Rigathi who is trying to identify either the candidate he'll support or the candidate he'll pick as his running mate. And that begs the question again, if Rigathi was impeached, what makes him think he can now choose for Kenyans the best candidate as the president? If the constitution found him unfit, and that's why he was impeached, what makes him now think he can decide for Kenyans or choose for Kenyans the best presidential candidate? I honestly believe that by the virtue that Rigathi was impeached, he has got no moral authority to decide for Kenyans who Kenyans should vote for. If he does that, then he'll also just elect or pick or support someone who is as dirty as himself, someone of no moral standing. And should it reach there, Kenyans should reject such kind of a candidate. Birds of the same feathers will always flock together. If it's Rigathi Gachagua will decide, then be rest assured that Rigathi Gachagua will be the person calling shots in that government. And in the 2 years Rigathi served as the deputy president, we saw Rigathi Gachagua's true colors. He kept talking of shares. He kept talking of hii Wajaluo, hii mzee wa kitendawili, baba yake ametusumbua, yeye pia anatusumbua, watu yake wanatusumbua. Such ethnic undertones. So should it reach there, where Rigathi now decides for Kenyans the best presidential candidate, that candidate, in my honest opinion, should and must be rejected by Kenyans. Rigathi is not fit, deciding for Kenyans. As I conclude, looking at Rigathi Gachagua, I'm also seeing a Rigathi who is interested in cutting a deal with William Samoei Ruto after 2027 presidential elections. Rigathi wants to get as many members of parliament as possible, many governors as possible, senators, MCAs. With such numbers, he'll easily reach out to Ruto in the event Ruto is elected the president. He'll cut a deal with Ruto. It's good for Kenyans to understand these things early enough. So don't vote for Rigathi or Rigathi's candidate because you hate Ruto. All these politicians are chips of the same pot. If William Ruto wins 2027, you will see all these opposition leaders flocking to Ruto. And Kenyans will be left wondering what happened. All these politicians are chips of the same pot. Let me stop it there. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. We are still working on some very interesting videos. We are still working on Mukisa Kitui's appointment as the United Opposition's spokesperson. That's a video you should not miss. Make sure you subscribe. We are also working on a very interesting video, the reasons why Matiang'i is fast losing popularity. Because if you follow Kenya's politics very keenly, you ought to have noticed or even seen Matiang'i is fast losing popularity. Don't miss those videos in our subsequent analysis. Let's meet in our next video. Thank you.